Today's show is all about being honest.
Ain't afraid to bare my soul, ain't afraid to walk on coals. I ain't gonna tell no lies, I ain't gonna apologize. Can't stop me now, can't stop me now. I'm just doing what I do.
Hello, this is Enzo with the Race Driver Coach Show. And last video was Don't Be a Dumb Driver, when I was pleading with you not to go about your motorsport just thinking the engineer's got to set up your car. But this time, straight after, I want to say, don't be a deluded driver. That's something else we see a lot in motorsport. Deluded people. You see it in every industry. Britain's Got Talent. How about X Factor? You watch X Factor, right? And you see this person who is adamant that they're the best singer in the world. But then they get up on stage and people just laugh their asses off about how bad that person is at singing. Yet the person on the stage who's singing, the singer, is convinced that they're the best thing since sliced bread. And you see this with drivers. You see it with entrepreneurs, people thinking they can do that side of it, and they're born entrepreneurs. Well, there's something that motorsport and any other sport and life does for you as a favor. It basically says, I'm going to give you the results you want if you are good enough. And that's pretty much the rule. Okay, now and then you get people that look their way into a position, but if they want to maintain, like you see somebody who gets a race seat, a drive, and it's a driver you've beat before, but they go and get this seat that you want, they step up a level or they go all the way, and you know you're better than them, it burns. But if they're not good enough, they will sink. It will play out. Which brings me to tell you all now, you've got to be so honest with yourselves. You've got to be so self-aware about what you're good at and what you're not good at. I'm getting too many people ask me now about approaching a race team, which we'll cover in a video coming up soon. And they'll say, right, I'm going to tell the race team that I'm the best driver out there, that I can win for them. They just give me a chance, or put me in the seat and I'll win. And this is a driver that's telling me this that has never raced, or has raced and they're always P15 or something. Listen, if you haven't proven it through results, if you haven't shown that you are good enough, and you know for a fact that you aren't good enough, there's no point using that as your sales pitch, because one day a team owner will say, okay, turn up tomorrow and let's see how good you are. And they'll put you in that car and they'll see that you're not as good as the drivers they've got already. And it's embarrassing. And then your reputation's gone. Having the motivation and the balls to say you're the best and good, but not being able to back it up, I don't want you to do that. The people that watch this show and listen to it, I don't want you to be that kind of driver that overlooks their shortcomings, overlooks their weaknesses. Instead, you've got to know exactly how you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're not good at, and what the opportunities are for you to grow. You've got to be very honest. Otherwise, you're going to be this deluded driver who thinks they're the best, thinks they deserve a shot, but really, you're not that good. Or if you go into it, you got to create value, right? I always say you've got to create value to someone. So if you're going to a race team, then you've got to be able to give them something, whether it's cash or speed. Or you can get them a driver that has got one of them too. Blaming the car is another thing. You see drivers, they blame the setup. You see other people, they blame, I got traffic in qualifying, when really, you weren't fast enough. I want drivers that watch this show, and the drivers I work with definitely, to be honest. If there's a part of your game that you're not quite world class, yet you're aiming to be world class, that's fine. There's plenty of areas that the F1 drivers and IndyCar drivers and NASCAR drivers are not ticking. They're not perfect at everything, but you've got to know what that is. Just like a fighter. If you're a fighter, you've got nowhere to hide. You've got people watching your technique. You've got people telling you, okay, you're not very good on defense. You've got to be an attacking type fighter. And they're going to come up with a game plan that basically overshadows or overcomes their shortcomings. And as a driver, you've got to do the same. But you've got to know what they are. Whether you're driving or not, in life, you've got to be really honest with what you're not so good at and know what your strengths are as well. And if you just go by your strengths, that's fine, but stop telling everybody you're good at everything. Everything's on you. You're the leader. You're the driver. You're the warrior. that is forging this quest in racing. So you've got to know your weaknesses. Don't be afraid of them. If you think you're not that mentally strong, work on it. If you think the driving's not that quick, work on it. But be honest. Your honesty will allow you to go much further than if you keep, like most drivers, ignoring what you're not good at, making excuses and just eking your way through, because you'll get found out. So be honest now. If you're going to teams and things like this and asking them to take you on your raw speed, are you really that quick? Do you deserve it? If you say you want to get sponsors, but you're not that confident, then you've got to know this. Stop putting it off. Get confident. Learn how to get confident. And then you approach them. No more hiding. Everybody who watches this, I want you to be 100% honest. Ask your team manager. Ask your dad. Say, what am I missing? What is it that I'm missing that will not allow me to get to the top? And then attack it. Train it. Get better at that area. And this is the process. No ego attached to anything you do. Not your identity. This is you trying to become the kind of driver that you need to be, that deserves a shot.
Can't stop